thank you so much for being on Grain by Grain Artist Stories. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Yay! And you guys can't see, but we also have Georgia and Jess sitting in the corner as an audience as well. Yay! So we're going to do an icebreaker first.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry, this is really chill. But between bread, noodles, and rice, what would you kiss, marry, and kill?
Okay, I would kill bread.
Okay.
And then, you look so sad.
I love bread. Anyways, yeah, keep going. You'll kill bread, yeah.
I would kiss rice and then marry noodles.
Noodles is your favorite. Do you cook a lot of noodles or?
Not really. I feel like I really like ramen.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like you have to be pretty skilled and you have to be cooking long hours for the broth.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Nice. Do you eat noodles every day?
I eat rice every day.
Oh, but you would marry noodles over rice. Okay. I'm going to ask you more on that later. But let's get straight into it. So first question, tell me about your journey as an artist. Like, how did you start? From the very beginning.
Very beginning would be the start of my life.
Really?
So I feel like this might be a long answer, but I've been drawing for as long as I remember.
Okay.
And it would just be me doodling on like school textbooks. Or like asking my parents for like printer scrap paper and then just like drawing on it. I feel like for me, I was born with that, I guess, like natural instinct or like passion, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But I just like to draw.
Yeah.
And I don't really have to think when I draw. It's more like relying on my hand and letting it, like, draw on the paper. So I never really have to think about it.
I
look so
envy you.
shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I never thought of it as a career until I went into uni and then I studied nutrition science and dietetics to be a dietitian. I was still drawing, but only as a hobby.
Yeah.
It wasn't until COVID when I was in Melbourne and lockdown was so bad that I had nothing to do.
Yeah.
And I only just picked up like drawing on my tablet/laptop. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to start posting on Instagram.
Yeah.
Much like everyone else.
Yeah.
And then I started to meet a lot more like artists in the same field, like people who draw like cute art. And then I noticed that a lot of them also have a sticker shop, like they all have an online shop. And I was like, you know what, that sounds like a cute idea. Like up until here, I'm still not thinking about like taking this seriously as a career. Yeah. And then I contemplated and did my research for about a year.
Wow.
And also trying my best at that time to accumulate as many like followers as I can. So I gained around 10k followers in a year. And then I was like, you know what, let's just do it. And then I, bought the printer, bought like sticker paper, and then I drew up some designs. Found like a sticker sheet manufacturer and then had my first shop launch. Yeah. What year was it? 2022, I think. Yeah. Middle of the year, and then I got, I think, like 31 orders in like one day, and I was like, oh my god, this is it.
Amazing.
And then I was like, you know what, I want to keep doing it. So,
okay. Yeah. So what was that transition like from, because I assume you were already working as were you working as a dietitian?
Yeah, I was working, actually when I started my sticker shop, I was studying masters.
Okay.
In UQ. Yeah. And like, I'm not someone who really cares about my grades, and like dietetics is not something that requires you to be like super meticulous. It cares more about your communication skills to your patients. So I was like, you know what, I have some spare time because I don't care about my grades. So I'm going to start my sticker shop.
Okay. So you never worked as a dietitian?
I did, actually.
Oh, you did? You did.
But then I also did my sticker shop on the side for the first, I think, 2 years. Yeah. Yeah. 2 years. 2 weeks after I graduated Master of Dietetics in UQ, I got a work from home dietitian job.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then it was like casual / part-time, so I would work like 3 to 4 days a week. So it's all work from home, so then, you know, right after clocking out, I can go straight to like drawing.
Yeah.
So it was really good for like starting out.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So what made you transition to doing this full time?
Oh,
What was that like?
The work from home dietitian job. I was also working with one of my Monash, so like undergrad classmate.
Yeah.
And then we were kind of like acquaintance, but like, you know, we found out that we work in the same company, so we were like getting closer.
Yeah.
And then she was unfortunately getting like bullied by like upper management, like middle
so
upper
sad.
management, which is so stupid.
Yeah.
Like it's clock in, clock out, get your money, like
Yeah.
don't start drama. But
Yeah.
yeah, so she was having such a hard time, and she was venting to me every day and just telling me how every day she would clock out and then she would go to bed and cry. And I was like telling her, I was like, this job is not paying you enough to do that, you know.
I don't think any job with
Any
any
job.
payment is worth that.
Maybe
yeah.
like $5,000 an hour, they're not.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was just like telling her all this, like, you know, this job is not worth you crying at all. I would not shed a tear for this job.
Yeah.
And then, you know, after I talk about it, I'm like, you know what? I should listen to my own advice. And
yeah.
so I actually quit before her as well.
Oh, okay. You led the way. Hopefully
Yeah.
she quit after you.
Yeah, and
Nice.
like, I was just not really learning much from the job either. It was very repetitive. Wasn't learning much. It was boring. I was like bored out of my mind, and I just had so much trouble focusing on my task as well. So I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm wasting my time, and I feel like I could probably make more money doing art stuff. And so I quit in January 2024.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that was last year.
Last year, yeah. And I knew I made the right decision to quit my job because it just wasn't fulfilling to me in any way. But I was still really scared.
That's so fair.
But it worked out, so
That's
don't know
awesome.
how, but yeah.
And are you making more than your old job?
And it's just so much more freedom, and I feel so
Yeah.
happy. And I feel like I was put into this world to create art anyways. So I feel like I'm living my life's purpose already.
Yeah. Okay. So do you think dietitian will be something that you would visit again in the future, or?
I missed out the details. So when so 2 weeks after graduation, I got that like 3 to 4 a day week work from home job. But I also got a private clinic job.
Oh, nice.
But that private clinic job is only 1 day a week. So I still have that job, and I still just work 1 day a week.
Oh, nice. And like, what does your job look like? Like, what do you do as a dietitian?
I will go into my clinic, and then, you know, if someone books an appointment, I'll go into my clinic, you know, read through their GP referral.
Yeah.
And then basically like we run a roadmap of, you know, why are you visiting a dietitian? What do you want to achieve out of these sessions? And then we have to go through their, you know, like medical background, medical history, what supplements, what medication you're taking, how's your social situation going on, any gastrointestinal issues you have, you know, how's your stress, how's your sleep, how's your exercise, and then we ask about their diet history, which is basically the term we use where we just ask what you eat in a typical day. From there we make improvements. And yeah, and we try our best to make very feasible, very easy solutions.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we send them an email of what we discussed. I see my clients once a month.
Okay.
Check on their progress.
Yeah.
And if they're good to handle on their own, then, you know, discharge, goodbye.
Yeah.
You can handle themselves. Yeah.
I see. And these are like walk-in patients, or like patients like that book in?
Usually they book in.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And I can see that like a lot of your knowledge and your experience as a dietitian, you incorporate that in your art as well, which is so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. And this is a sidetrack, but I actually have a friend who is a dietitian, and she follows you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's like so inspired to one day quit her job and to start her own small business as well. Yeah. Right now she's in London, working there, and I think they pay pretty good there. So
there's a lot of dietitian who goes to the UK as well for more like job opportunities. Yeah, they actually teach you that dietitians don't last for more than like 2 to 5 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, technically, you're still working as a dietitian.
Like 3
part
hours a
time.
week.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
And I really enjoy like the mix of creative work and then also some academic work, so that my brain stays working.
Yes. Yeah. I see. Okay. And like, what made you go into the dietitian field?
I was struggling a lot with my eating, my relationship with food when I was a teenager. So I think ever since like 10 to like 14, 15-year-olds, I mentioned before that I have an older sister, and then she would read with me all these like diet related like articles on like exercise to like target like areas like how to like lose fat on like your inner thigh, like things like that. So I was very influenced by that, and I always thought like I would look better if I lost some weight, or like I need to eat better, like things like that. So when I was 15 to 16 years old, I was never diagnosed, but if I was dragged into a clinic to get a diagnosis, I would get like anorexia, which is what I was dealing with. And then it was like 6 months of like active anorexia, where I was like purging, barely eating any food, exercising so much every day, drinking a lot of water because apparently it helps with your metabolism. It doesn't. Eating so much like spicy food because again speeds up your metabolism, which it also doesn't.
Okay.
Just doing a lot of really extreme things. To the point where my period stopped for like 8 months.
Oh my gosh.
And then I think what ended it was that our family went on a trip to New Zealand, and so I felt like, fuck, I have to eat. And then I was still trying to eat like really low carb, like lots of like vegetables, but then I was still eating more than what I would. So I was like starting to enjoy it, and and I was like, I do want to eat food. And then so I swung from anorexia to bulimia, where I was eating a bunch of food and then throwing it all up, but I was also gaining weight like rapidly because like your body is still absorbing some of the calories, and also I was underweight. And then I had like 2 months of like binging and purging, and then I think one day I was just so fed up with the cycle that I was like, I want to eat the food and actually have it stay in my body. Because I would like binge and purge like in secret, like when my parents are out, and then I would just like eat a bunch of random food that I don't even want to eat, but I was just eating because my body was so nourished. I was like losing my mind basically. So after all that, one day I was just like, there's no one who can save me except for me, because this is my body, so I better start now and start eating properly, or like it's gonna be too late. So and then afterwards I was like, I probably should receive like better education about nutrition rather than going on Instagram and going on these like random websites about like how to lose weight and things like that. So that's when I went into Monash for Bachelor's of Nutrition Science. Which is a lot of like theory based. And I just had so much fun like learning it.
Oh, nice.
Obviously there were subjects that I didn't enjoy, like research and stuff. But when I was learning things like this vitamin does this in the body, things like that, I was like, oh my god, I love this. So, and then naturally I went into Master of Dietetics, so I could be a dietitian and then help other people make more informed choices about nutrition. So
oh, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
That's okay.
Do you feel like all the knowledge that you've gained has helped you with your recovery as well?
It has helped me in a way where I was able to look at nutrition in a much more objective way, rather than before. Nutrition was all to me just weight loss and becoming slimmer, calories, what food is bad for you, all this very like gimmicky stuff that doesn't really represent nutrition at all. Yeah, but it helped me gain a much better perspective.
Yeah.
And I was able to also learn a lot more about nutrition, how it ties into things like politics, things like, you know, people's like mental health and behaviors and, you know, psychology, all of that, because nutrition is very wide. So yeah, it's really fun.
Wow.
Yay.
Maybe I should ask you some questions later about teach me your entire uni degree.
$150 per
Oh,
hour.
okay. I will book an appointment with your clinic. Okay, so going back to before when you were talking about when you first started and you accumulated a lot of followers, was there anything in particular that you did to accumulate followers?
I feel like when I first got into posting on Instagram, it was all new to me because I never posted on Instagram before. I barely posted on my personal. And then like seeing people interact with you when I was in such a lonely like headspace back in like, you know, COVID and stuff, and I was having like relationship like breakout as well. What's the word? Breakdown. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not breakdown, not skin. I felt really lonely. So like finding that community online, it got me really hooked. So I was like, you know, always commenting and interacting with other people, and then like posting daily as well. I was pushing myself to like draw a lot.
Yeah.
I was not good at it.
We all start from somewhere.
We all started from somewhere. But yeah, somehow I gained, you know, people who like my art. So I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Well, I think your content is very unique.
Oh,
so I understand why so many people followed you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I'm doing when I post. So.
You're just being yourself. And I think that's amazing.
Go on camera and see how it goes. Yeah.
So I learned that you draw with your finger.
Yeah, I do.
That is absolutely crazy. Tell me more. How does one draw with their finger?
When I first started like learning like digital art, because I would always draw with like pencil on paper.
Yeah.
I was using my ex-boyfriend's like laptop. He was like, you know, oh, I have this drawing app that you can use. You can, you know, use it to like kill time. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then he would give me, you know, his stylus as well. But I just didn't like it.
Okay.
Because I think I hold pen or like pencils like really hard to the point where like my finger like joint would be sore. Or I would leave like a little like bump like how it's here. And I just didn't like it. So I was like, and then one day the stylus stopped working. So I was like, oh, I'll try my finger instead. And I was like, this is fine. So
wow. So you draw everything with your finger now these days?
Yeah.
That's crazy. You're amazing. I could not tell. Like, you know, we have to play those games. Like, what are those like phone games, like drawing, and you pass it on. Like, what are those games called? Like, you have to guess what it is.
Guess what people are drawing. Like,
yeah. And then like I have my laptop and I have to draw like with my finger.
Yeah.
You cannot tell that like I'm an artist like, at all. I just regular like dudes like stick figure drawing. That's crazy. Yeah. Wow. So, what are your guiding principles for your work these days?
What do you mean by guiding principles?
Like, I guess.
Then, like, how do I like structure my work day, like things like that?
I mean, we can talk about that too.
We
can like a day in the life of Cherry. Like what does your life look like?
Okay. I try to start my morning with like high motivation tasks, so like tasks that requires more effort to do.
Yeah.
So things like, you know, waking up early, obviously, and also taking time to exercise at home, and then doing things like drawing or, you know, filming. Or when I film, I usually just film myself doing something. I'm not usually talking to the camera, but sometimes I do want to do videos like that, and then in my head I'm like, I feel really nervous like talking in front of cameras. Yeah. So that to me is like a high motivation task. I'll do all that. And then eat lunch, and then in the afternoon I'll do something a little bit more relaxing that doesn't like require too much like brain power. So like packing shop orders, some more drawings if I feel like it.
Yeah.
And then replying to emails, replying to comments on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
And then that's about it.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff in one day.
Not really.
Okay. No. Sounds like a lot. Yeah. When you talk about like creating content, what is your approach with creating content? Because I feel like you pump out a lot for your content.
Do I?
Yeah. I see a lot, right? Yeah. See, lots of nods. Yeah. So do you have like a structured approach when it comes to content creation?
I mean, I do kind of like to make my Instagram feed look like more coherent. So it's like one image post and then like 2 like reels where it's like my face, because I feel like that way I can easily make more personal connection by showing my face online.
Yes.
And then also fitting in my sticker designs, and then also a comic I'm doing. So it's just image posts to like more personal reels, and then image posts.
Okay, and then you just create content based off that structure. Is that correct?
It kind of is based on like what's happening. So if like I have a shop update coming in like a month or 2, then I'll base my content around that, more behind the scenes of like I'll come unpack 10 kilograms of sticker sheets with me, and then like going through each sticker design and like talk about like what inspired me, things like that. A lot of like unboxing content. And then I also earn money from doing like sponsored like collab posts with like companies as well. So that also jumps into the rotation. And then recently with the coloring book, I also have to do some more PR with that as well. So it feels like like what is happening majorly, so I base my content around that. Or if there's a trend going on and I'm like, I wanna hop on the trend, then I'll just do it.
Yeah. That makes sense. Nice. Well, tell me more about your coloring book.
My coloring book. Do you wanna hear like the whole process of like how it happened?
Yeah, anything. Like just share the whole thing, like your inspiration, why you started it, your journey towards making it.
So why I started it was because Penguin Books approached me. They emailed me just out of nowhere. I don't know why they emailed me, but it was a week after I posted a Butter Dog comic, and it got a lot of views. So I feel like maybe they brought in one of the publishers from Penguin. But they emailed me and they were like, coloring books are really hot right now. Do you want to do one? And I'm like, yes. I'm the type to like commit first and then figure out what to do. But they were very accommodating. They were, going through all these details. Well, it's gonna happen. Sending me the contract, things like that.
Oh, nice.
So they just emailed me and I was like, I would love to do a coloring book with you guys. And they're like, sweet, we'll jump on to a video call tomorrow. And I'm like, okay.
Wow, tomorrow.
The next day.
That was fast. They work fast.
They work fast, and then I jumped onto a call with a publisher, and then we were talking about like what kind of potential themes for the coloring book, how many pages I would need to do, things like that. And I was like, I'm happy with whatever. And then she was like, okay, I'll report back to my team and see if they're happy with this idea. And I was like, okay. And then like a few days later, they were like, yes, we're gonna go forward with your coloring book idea.
Oh, nice.
I was like, yay. And then they were giving me like, okay, you need to do 40 pages of black and white, like just the line art. Within 2 months, because we want to publish this book before Easter.
Wow.
So
did you make 40 drawings in 2 months?
Less than 2 months. I drew 2 to 3 pages a day.
Wow. How did you find that?
Easy.
Oh, okay. Your finger.
Because I feel like my longest process is the coloring. and I didn't need to do that. So
Oh, that's
I was
awesome.
like, yeah.
Okay.
And the name of the coloring book is Cozy Calm, and I feel like that's pretty in line with my art style already. So, yeah, they were just like, draw something that's cute, something that's cozy, and I was like, good, that's exactly what I'm doing. So, yeah,
that's perfect.
yeah. I feel like the main thing was just like, what kind of animals would I include in the page? Trying to change it up. What activity would they be doing? What kind of background? So it's those 3 elements and just kind of randomly scramble in my brain. And
yeah. Okay, wow, that's exciting. So it's going to be launched
in April 8th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exciting!
Yay.
Can't wait to see it.
I can't wait to see it. It'll be so surreal, like seeing it in bookstores.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy for you though. That's
Thank
awesome.
you. I would never forget this like opportunity of a lifetime. I'm just so happy that they even noticed me. So,
yeah. Wow. And I've seen like you've done other collabs before as well, like a pajama one, I think. I was like, that is so cool. Imagine people wearing your art when they go to sleep. Yeah. What was that like? How did that happen?
All the collabs I've ever had is companies or brands reaching out to me. So I kind of just sit there.
Okay.
I'm a very passive person.
And then just but that's so awesome though. Like it just means that like you've been doing so well that people are reaching out to you. You know.
No, I feel like even in social life, I'm a very like passive person. Like as I said before, I need the other person to lead the conversation. I feel like I've always just had friends fall into my lap. So I feel like I'm very lucky in that regard. So, so I feel like I'm just trying my best to be authentic and attract people who would like my real self. And so far it's been working.
Yes, you're doing amazing. So
thank you.
Yes, nice. So like I've only ever seen your current style of work. How did you evolve to your current style? How did you find it?
I feel like when I was a kid, my drawings were very largely influenced by animes and cartoons.
Oh yeah, as we all are. Yeah.
Like anime girls, like all day, every day. Back then I didn't learn anything. I didn't go to art school. I didn't take classes or anything. I just really liked drawing. I didn't really care about what I was drawing.
Okay.
I definitely knew I liked drawing people and like animals. I didn't like drawing anything that's like rigid, so things like cars and buildings. No, I really don't think when I draw.
That's so cool. I feel like I think too much and nothing ever comes out. So it's so cool to hear that.
I think like COVID. I would like video call my friends and then we would do that drawing game where like you draw and then like people guess what word it is. And then my friends would be like, "Why are you so good at this? Like we can guess this in 5 seconds."
Oh my gosh,
and
nice!
Like, this is not fun anymore. And then so we didn't play that game and instead they were just like, "You can just live stream like you drawing on your screen to us."
Oh wow!
And I was like, "Oh okay, what do you want me to draw?" And then they would request something like a little froggy or like a little. Like a teddy bear or something. I think that's when I started drawing more animals, and I really just enjoyed how relaxing it was to draw like very blobby, round, very chubby animals. I just really liked it, so I feel like I just kind of stuck to it because that's how I started digital art. So,
Nice. And do you have any artist inspirations?
I feel like all the artists I follow right now, they're all really inspiring. I think Kimmy's World.
Oh yeah.
Kimmy's Workshop. I know she has a few accounts, but I feel like her love for ocean theme. It was just inspiring for me to see someone live so authentically, and also Kimmy's style of fashion is also very unique. Maybe compared to bums here in Brisbane, we're not that stylish. But like Melbourne people, like fashion senses really inspire me. Animals really inspire me. Nature. Even I've been looking at the leaves here. I'm just like, it's really cute.
Oh no.
The sky, the colors of the sky.
Yeah.
Always like trying to take mental notes of like the environment around you and see what color palettes work, see what kind of composition you can blend into your artwork. I feel like is what inspires me a lot. Right now, off the top of my head, Kimmy, I have a lot more artists that I look up to as well. Yuki from Melbourne.
No.
Maybe you can look up her Instagram.
Do you know her Instagram?
Yeah.
Youki. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know why I was supposed to Yuchi.
I used to call her Yochi, and then she would just respond to me. But then I heard someone else call her Yuki, and I'm like, I messed up. I'm sorry, Yuki.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like that, like very flowy, very just, it represents her so well. And like it's very like authentic. So I really just, I don't even need to like take into account like, what the actual art looks like. It's just the fact that it represents them so well. I feel inspired by that kind of authenticity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing these leaves in your future artwork.
And that plant there as well.
That one! Oh my god!
Cute.
That is such an interesting plant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. So next question.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing art markets for?
Well, art markets I've been doing for, I think 2 years now. I first started in Brisbane Genki Market.
Ooh.
Georgie would know. Georgie's the one who brought me into Genki Market. I first started visiting, and then I saw Georgie's ceramic work, and I was like, this is so bakio. And then I think you told me about like joining. Yeah. So I was like, okay. And then I was like, wait, I have to bring products and like think about the setup and all that. I scrambled and did it. And I was so nervous that day because I'm so like introverted, not very good with like socializing, and then I couldn't eat the whole day because I was so nervous. I was just standing there like, and I also like when I say hi to customers, I also wasn't like loud enough, so like half the time people couldn't hear me. And then I'd feel really hurt when people don't say hi back, when in reality they probably just didn't hear me. And also some people just don't say hi back, which is like like whatever.
They're just so in the zone, looking at your awesome stuff that they can't even respond.
And then I think I made like $400 something, and I'm like, holy shit, $400! Nice. So I just kept doing it. And then as I was doing that, I also was like getting ads, or I would see other artists in the area who would join things like like Icon or like other art markets. So I was just like, I'll just apply. And find out later. So
nice. And that's when like you two met, like that Genki market? Oh, that's so cute. And now you guys travel together for interstate markets and stuff. What do you think is the difference between the art scene in Brisbane versus like Melbourne and Sydney? Because initially I was like talking to Jess, I was like, oh, is there like maybe less competition here? Like for Jess and I, like that's what we felt during Toasty. But like you're mentioning a lot of markets now, I'm like, oh yeah, there are actually quite a lot of art markets in Brisbane. So yeah, like as someone who lives in Brisbane, what is your take?
I still feel like Melbourne and Sydney really dominate the art scene, because like with Toasty we still had interstate artists coming to join. I definitely feel like Melbourne, Sydney would be more prominent, and every time I like go to follow an artist on Instagram, and if they're in Australia, they're either in Australia, not Melbourne or Sydney. But it's growing, I guess. I mean, like Toasty had so many, artists, like 65 artists.
That's
and
amazing.
Georgie had to reject like half of the applications. So I feel like the artist community is definitely growing here, and I also feel like it's more tight-knit here.
Okay.
But smaller.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you guys have, like, what are the markets that you guys have here? Like Genki, Kaikon, Toasty, Illustration Fair.
Illustration Fair,
I guess
might be it.
like maybe like the big ones like
Supernova and Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you do like all of those?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
nice.
But the audience is definitely different in conventions.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
PACCON's pretty good because it's very like art centric, so people know that they're coming in to expect like things like like prints or like stickers and stationery. Whereas like Supernova and Comic-Con, because it's so like American comic focused, and people are going in to like see cosplayers or like see voice actors, voice actresses, actors. The attention's very divided.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think a lot of people still enjoy the artist alley, but then some people are just there to look at, their idol. So
Yeah. That makes sense. Okay. And so, how often are you flying for interstate conventions then?
I think last year I flew 3 times for Sydney and Melbourne. I think it was for Mellow, KaiCon, and then also Bloom and Soul in Sydney.
Yeah.
And this year I'm flying mostly to Sydney.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so for Mellow Sydney, and then Hugh in August, Momo Market in May.
Yeah.
Did I mention KaiCon yet? Not yet.
No.
Yeah, KaiCon in Sydney.
October.
I think October.
Yeah.
And then I also want to do Mellow in Melbourne as well. So
That's
at
in
least
September.
5.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be so fun though. I can't wait to see you at all of them.
Yay.
Oh, so talking about markets,
Thank you.
what is your favorite part about attending markets, other than money, of course? Because that's good too.
And really good too. But
Yeah.
I really enjoy like meeting the artists in real life, because usually I've followed the artists online for a while, but I don't know what they look like.
Yeah.
And I actually like finally talking to them. I feel like even if we don't talk about art stuff, just like how you're going with the day, things like that, I feel like it's just very, that sense of community is a very rewarding feeling to me. Thank you, Jen.
That's awesome. Yeah. And is there anything that you feel like you struggle with when it comes to markets? It's okay if there's none.
Yeah.
Jess and I always talk about setting up and packing down. We're like fucking hate. It's like the worst. I think that's like the most stressful part for us, especially if we have to travel and then we're gonna have to wake up at like 6 a.m.
I feel like if I'm doing interstate markets, that's when it's stressful, because I'm like, oh, what if my flight cancels? What if it delays? I get there like 11 p.m. And then like my setup is kind of clunky because I don't like the like grid.
Yes.
I don't know what
the
it's
crates.
called.
I
crate.
Yeah.
I tried using it, and it's just so hard for me to log in that I was so pissed off that I was like, nah, I don't want to use this. I'm just using my like wooden ones, which I really like, and I like the look of it, but they're so heavy.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
That's hard, especially when you're traveling.
Yeah, but if it's within Brisbane, I don't feel too much stress about it at all.
Yeah.
I don't really get any like Karens either. I've never had someone complain about my prices, which I'm really thankful for.
Yeah.
I do, because like, not to like brag, but I do make enough, so I don't really see the point in like raising my prices or anything, and I'm not struggling financially. So I just want to make like stickers and stationery more accessible to the public, because I haven't mentioned in this podcast either, but when I was a kid, I was so obsessed with collecting stickers and sticker sheets. I would always like beg my parents to like go into like a sticker store and like buy something for me, and then I would just stick it on like like furnitures, and then it would peel the paint off.
No. Your parents must have been like, "What are you doing?"
But I kind of just want to continue this kind of very pure form of joy that we have in this very cruel and unjust world. It's something that I really find a lot of joy and happiness in. So I just kind of want to spread that around the world.
So lovely.
So it's that sense of like providing what I felt as a child, and also that sense of community, just a whole community of people who just like to create art and collect art, and I just really cherish that feeling.
That's awesome. Okay, and like, how does it work? Because I feel like you're always alone, like by yourself when you're at markets and stuff, right? Like, I'm like I need to pee, like I need to eat, like I need someone there to like, you know, attend to my needs. Like, how does that work for you, especially when you have to travel?
I always just befriend my table neighbors so that they can, you know, like, if I need to go to the bathroom, I can just be like, hey, sorry, I just need to go to the bathroom. And, you know, everyone's so supportive, so friendly. They'll always be like, of course, we'll watch over your stuff. And then they will tell customers that I'll be back in like 5 minutes.
Nice.
In that way, I don't ask for help with like close ones. I've never asked like any of my friends to be like, hey, I'm doing a market, can you come help me? I've never asked that. That never crossed my mind. But when it comes to asking for strangers for help, that's when I'm like, can you do this, can you do this?
What about like food and stuff? Like, do you eat?
I bring snacks.
Okay. Okay.
At Toasty, I brought like a bag of pretzel chips and no. And some grapes. I try to be a little bit healthier.
Yeah.
But, like market dates is where I eat the worst.
I get that.
Yesterday, like when we were finishing pack down, I was also helping them to like pack up the actual like venue as well, and helping Georgie pack up her store. And then, oh sorry, I touched my mic.
That's okay.
King Kong. And then we were, and then I was talking to Sheila, like, she's a crochet artist who was like sitting, tabling next to me at Toasty, and then, you know, we're all mutual friends, and then their partners show up, and we were all just chit-chatting, and I was, at the end of it, I was starving to the point where I was like lightheaded, and I was like, had like cold sweat coming out, and I was like, oh, and then like Alia, another mutual friend, artist, she was like holding a whole crate of stuff like back to her car, and she needed to go a little bit uphill, so I was like, I'll help you. And then I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna fucking faint.
Oh no.
I feel like it's you know, I do try to eat pretty consistently throughout the day, or if I need to, I'll eat like a really big meal so that I know that I'll be full for the next at least like, you know, 4 to 5 hours. But markets is when that's all thrown out of balance. Even if I do try to snack throughout the day, sometimes I just end up like ravenously hungry, and I hate that because I get really grumpy.
That's so fair.
But yeah, I feel like maybe that's the thing I struggle with, even as a dietitian. Because sometimes you just can't eat in time. Or you're just so busy and overwhelmed that you forget that you need to eat. And then when your body does signal you, that's when it's like a super strong signal, and it's like, oh,
it's too late.
It's too late. You're gonna faint.
That's tough, because like Jess and I have thought about, you know, can we travel interstate and do a market by ourselves? I think mostly we can, but it's just like, I think for me it's like, I have 3 suitcases with me, and I've tried carrying 3 suitcases by myself, and if it's like a flat ground, it works, right? But like Australia's not made like that. You have so many bumps and rocks, and like I once
the road's like broken in half.
Exactly. Like I've had to get like strangers to help me wheel my suitcase for me, because I'm like, this is just like literally impossible.
And then in summer as well, you're like sweating buckets, and then you're like about to cry, and then all the suitcases are so heavy.
So that, and the second thing I would probably say is like food, like, because you just, it's not like if we're in Sydney, you know, we can eat beforehand and then go to the market. But if you're interstate, like I don't think we can do that. We're just like rushing to the venue, and then there's no time to eat, and someone needs to go get our food. So I'm just like, how do I do this by myself? Like, just
I feel like when I traveled to Sydney last year for, I think KaiCon, I tried to like eat something a little bit like protein rich before the market, so something like yogurt, or even like a protein smoothie or something. Waking up really early to like sneak a meal in beforehand. But I mean, I'm a morning person, so like that's like come naturally to me. But I feel like Sydney and Melbourne is not as like rewarding to morning people. In Brisbane, like cafes are open like 6 to 2 or like 7 to 3.
6 a.m. You know, that's like 4 hours past my bedtime. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think Brisbane is we are very rewarding to early birds.
Yeah.
So that's why toasting is like 9 to 4 as well.
Yeah. Because we were like, oh my god, 9 a.m. But like, you know what? That's Sydney's 10 a.m. So technically we should have nothing to complain about.
Are you both like night owls?
Yes.
Oh.
I think dance
Yeah.
pushes everything back for us.
Wow.
I eat dinner at like 10 or 11 because that's when I come home from dance.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so everything is, I sleep at 2 a.m. I wake up at 10. And I eat breakfast at like 11. Maybe like lunch at like 3 or 4. Yeah.
What?
And then dinner at like 10.
Sorry, I'm
yeah.
blasted your mind.
Yeah.
Wow. Is that normal?
For dancers, yes.
Okay.
For dancers.
For dancers, okay.
I can't speak on the whole of Sydney.
Okay.
But for dancers, definitely. Because everything just like happens so late. Like our dance classes or our dance trainings are like normal people's dinner times.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Wow, that's very interesting to learn about.
Yeah.
I'm in bed.
so fair.
I'm
Yeah.
on TikTok like,
So what time do you normally wake up?
I like to wake up 7 a.m. I used to wake your face. You were shocked and disgust.
Oh my
and just
god.
I love the morning sunlight. It hits different than like afternoon sunlight. And if I wake up later than 9 a.m., I'm depressed for the rest of the day because I feel like it's wasted. I feel like I wasted the day. Yeah.
That's so fair. 9 a.m. is an early wake up. I think I like run like 3 hours behind your life. Like, actually, I'm not even kidding.
But my actual work time, like I end my work day at like 5 and I'm just like dilly-dallying for the rest of the day. So yeah, I'm like playing Balatro on my computer.
That's nice.
Yeah, it feels really nice like waking up at 6:45, 7, and then I do a bit of reading, only a few pages because my attention span is very fried. And I like to read non-fiction, so anything that's like kind of motivation or self-help or psychology related books. I cannot read fiction to save my life.
Really?
But I can read fiction in Chinese. I can't read fiction in English. It just pisses me off. I don't know why.
Is it the way like English books describe things?
I guess so. It's just so like dress-uppy.
Okay.
Like, it's just so like elaborate, and I'm just like, man, you're not getting to the point quick enough. I'm,
right, like
losing
they describe too many things.
Yeah.
Right.
But then I don't mind it when it's in Chinese. So
interesting.
yeah, I don't know why. So yeah.
Do you think in Chinese?
I think in English.
You're thinking in English.
I have a fun fact for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so before I mentioned that I moved from Hong Kong to Australia when I was 11 years old, and then I took 3 years to reach being fluent in English.
Yeah.
So from age 0 to 14, all my dreams were in Cantonese.
Yeah.
And then once I became fluent in English, my dreams turned into English.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's my favorite fun fact to tell people.
So you would say you express yourself the best in English?
Yes.
Would you say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely, especially emotion-wise, because back then, like in Asia, you just don't talk about your feelings.
I mean, we still don't, right? Like,
not to my parents. No.
Yeah, exactly. Like, isn't there like a common thing where like no one knows how to say "I'm proud of you" in Chinese because you'll just never hear that phrase? It's like, how, like I should. I still don't know how to say it. Yeah. So. Wow.
Yeah.
Other than reading Chinese fiction books, do you still feel in touch with your Chinese culture?
Not really. I feel like I never really fit into Hong Kong's culture, like the hustle and bustle, very, I guess, like financially focused or academically focused. I mean, I do take care of myself well in terms of finances, but
Yeah.
I would not say I'm knowledgeable. Academic, I don't care about my grades. So,
Yeah.
I don't think I don't think my grades are that bad, but
Yeah.
it was just that I didn't aim for a high score. I just wanted to get it done.
Yeah.
And I feel like Hong Kong people, they're very straightforward. So, and sometimes I take things really personally when I don't need to, and I can feel like really hurt in like a conversation where, and then you know the person didn't really mean any harm, but I feel hurt anyway. So
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not really in touch in like Hong Kong's culture. You know, I don't feel relatable to other Hong Kong people unless they're very into the art scene also.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of friends in Hong Kong at all, which I really don't mind because I just don't really blend well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like I'm way more suited in like Australia.
Yeah. Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense. Because when you told me that you grew up in Hong Kong, I'm like, what? Like, no way. I did not detect any of that in you at all. But I guess it also makes sense because you moved to Adelaide, right?
And it was so chill.
Yeah. So, like, what about like the food? Like, do you like Hong Kong food, Chinese food?
I do like Chinese food, but like, you know, I think my favorite from like, you know, Hong Kong culture would be like yum cha, and we do have that in Australia. And you know, like street food, like siu mai or like fish balls or whatever, it's still pretty accessible to us nowadays in like the freezer section. Honestly, I really don't miss Hong Kong. I don't hate the city. I just never felt like I belonged in it. So I just don't really have much attachment to it.
Yeah. That's fair. And are you close to your parents?
Oof. No. I guess close as in I would, you know, send photos of my life and be like, here's what I did in the past week, and then, you know, and they are very supportive of me, of my art journey, even that back when I was a little kid, just like doodling on my textbook, they would be like, oh, that's beautiful.
Aww, so sweet.
They hyped me up so much. They were like, you are insanely talented, like, we have never seen this. And I would fully believe it. And I feel like that's what gave me the confidence to just do whatever, because
that's awesome. My
parents would always compliment whatever I do. So I'm just like, I'm just gonna do it whatever. And it worked out. So I think in art-wise, they were very, very supportive. But emotional-wise, I felt like they could have done better when it comes to, like for example, I'll be upset about something, you know, like something my mom said, for example, and then I'll be crying at the dinner table. We would all sit at the dinner table to have dinner together. I'd be crying and no one would address it. No one would talk to me. No one would, you know, like pet me, like, you know, give me a hug. No one would say anything. They would just talk to each other. That's completely ignored because they're so uncomfortable addressing these kind of negative emotions.
Yeah.
So I just grew up feeling really, you know, even though I was spending all day, every day with them, I felt really neglected. Yeah. And also because back in Hong Kong, my parents both worked full-time, and then it would be like a maid or like a nanny looking after me. And I just didn't get to spend much time with my parents.
Yeah.
I very distinctly remember one time my mom came home at like 11, and it was really late for me as well because I usually sleep at like 10. And then I told her like, oh, good night, I'm gonna go sleep. And then she told me to shut up. Because I think she had a bad day at work, and like, not to diss my mom in public, but like she didn't handle her anger very well.
Yeah.
So most of my memories of my mom was very like, she's upset again. She's upset at something. So even though they are, you know, very supportive, and I can understand that they tried their very best, some aspects, you know, of my attachment style and my way of handling emotions is definitely very flawed because of my upbringing. So, yeah. So
very
it's
relatable.
Like love-hate relationship.
That's so fair.
Yeah.
I guess that's like the difficulty with having Asian parents. It's difference in culture and the generation as well. yeah, I think just their style of parenting is just like as long as they bring you food and there's food on the table and like they've done their job. Yeah. Oh, okay.
All Asian kids would relate.
Yeah, I think a lot of us, a lot of us do. Yeah, it's not their fault.
Yeah,
they did try their best.
They tried their best.
Yeah, with the knowledge that they had. So
yeah, which like, and they don't talk about like mental health like at all.
They don't believe in mental health. Well, at least my parents don't.
I feel like my parents nowadays, they try to listen more when it comes to like mental health. But I was diagnosed with major depression when I was 16 years old. And then I remember my dad was like, the day I got diagnosed, my dad was taking me to the clinic. And then he was like, oh, if you have depression, then I have depression because I have way more to deal with than you. And I'm like, that's sad. Yeah, and that kind of vibe. You know? Yeah. No, I get that. I'm sorry to hear that. That's so sad, but... Classic Asian kid drama.
Yeah, my dad said similar thing. Like, what did he say? He was like, how can you be depressed? Like, you should go to like Africa or something and live there, and then you will be more grateful of your life. Like it's like why do you need to go to a therapist? Like people in war zones like aren't even going to see therapists. Maybe because they don't have access. They don't have access to it. We have access to it, so isn't it good that we get to like? I'm just like.
They say they like work so hard to give us a better life, but then when they see us live a better life and have more modern problems, they're like,
yeah. I definitely think it's like, what is it, the hierarchy of needs or something? Like I think they're just so focused on like having enough money and getting enough food, and then everything else isn't like a problem for them. But then we have that, and then now the next set of problems, it's so much more complex, and they don't understand it. Have you had any struggles as an artist?
Struggles.
And it's okay if you haven't, because it sounds like you don't need to think.
Okay, I don't
when it comes to like drawing and stuff.
I think drawing I didn't really have struggles. Obviously I took time to improve and find my style, but because I grew up in a supportive environment when it comes to art, I have never felt like I was failing. Even when I look back at my artwork like a year ago and I'm like, this is a piece of shit. But I still, it's just, to me, it's just like, I was, on my way to improving.
Nice.
I'm sure 5 years along the line, I'm going to look back at art that I make now and I'm going to be like, what the hell was I drawing? But like, I feel like that's just natural when it comes to improving. And I feel like it's a sign that you have improved. That's why you are able to see the difference. And but in terms of struggles, I guess with social media, like posting content, I definitely felt like pressured, or like when a post doesn't do well, like, for me it's like, when it doesn't hit like 10k views in like one day, then I'm like, oh my god, like I'm flopping, everyone hates me, I'm gonna lose all my followers, I'm gonna lose my job, I'm gonna be homeless.
Oh no.
I spiral very quickly, but I feel like nowadays I've just been able to take a step back and be like, you're complaining about views on Instagram, like come on. And like you're able to have a full-time income without even like doing quote unquote like a real corporate job. So like what the hell do you have to like complain about? So I'm just like, what, like able to like take a step and be like, well, let's try better next time. So, yeah, but definitely biggest struggle is like social media, and it has made us so easy to compare to other people. I think that's my main struggle. Okay,
no, that's so fair. And it's good that you have like a healthier mindset towards that now.
And I do see my therapist. I used to see her more frequently, but nowadays I feel like I'm pretty okay on my own.
Oh, nice.
But I still maybe like book an appointment like once every 6 months just to like check in. And it's just so good to talk to like a professional.
Nice. What did you mainly see her for?
I started seeing her when I was in UK because I witnessed a car accident. It wasn't that bad. It was no one was like severely injured, but it was in West End. A car was turning left and it hit a teenager on an e-scooter.
Oh.
But like, cause you're turning left, it was like pretty slow.
Yeah.
But it made that sound of like metal clashing onto like a flesh body, and for like the next few days, I just couldn't unhear it. Like it would just loop in my head. So I was like, maybe I should see a psychologist and talk about it. And I didn't realize there was like different forms of therapy. I thought it was just talk therapy, so you just talk your feelings out. And then I went to see a UQ therapist. They're all very good. Like
That's
for
good.
a uni.
Our uni therapists. Yeah.
Yeah, I went in and then they were like, "You were traumatized," and I'm like, "Wow."
What a big word.
Wow.
Whoa.
Because like, to me, it's like trauma. It's just so like, like World War II or like something more severe. I just saw a car accident. I wasn't even in the car accident.
Yeah.
But they were like, it's because like you can't unhear this and you can't stop thinking about it. Like the event is lingering after it has happened.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay. And then they were like, we'll get you to see someone who specializes in EMDR therapy, which is like eye movement. I can't remember the actual definition, but it's like eye movement to kind of help you link your emotion to your logic, and help you process the traumatic event.
Okay.
And then which is the therapist I see now. And then I was talking to her about the car accident, and then we ended up talking more about like what kind of other events in my life had the same kind of theme. And then she just ended up like unraveling a bunch of like childhood traumas that I didn't even realize existed.
Yeah.
Because I would just push them out of my memory, or like just very repressed, or didn't think it was that bad, like or that big of a deal. And yeah, she helped a lot, and I was able to kind of see these events more objective now. They still suck, but I don't feel as affected anymore. So yeah,
nice.
therapy was very good for me. I know therapy is not for everyone, because some people are just not as like suggestible when it comes to like talk therapy or changing your mindset. But for me, it's pretty helpful.
That's awesome. And I'm glad you found a good one as well, because sometimes I think it's quite hard to find one that suits you as well. So I'm glad you found someone who could really help.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I think she was my 6th therapist I've tried. The other ones were all good, but she was the one who specialized in like trauma. So
Okay, that's good. Yeah, that worked out well.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I only have one last question.
Okay.
Actually, no, 2 questions.
Okay.
Do you have any goals for Cherry's illustration, like immediate or future? Or are you like, actually from the sounds of it, you're like kind of like go with the flow kind of person?
Whatever happens.
Yeah.
Definitely YouTube. When I get into making more long form content, even though I'm really taking my time editing, I'm really slow.
You're up to your 5 minutes.
Big
First 5 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah.
And 5 more minutes to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really time consuming, but I really enjoy it. So,
Nice.
I feel like right now my goal is YouTube. If Penguin want to do another coloring book with me, I am all down for that.
Nice. I'm sure if you asked, they would be more than willing to.
Yeah. Hi guys, can I please have a book deal?
Yeah.
I feel like I want to be more gentle with myself, like mentally, because like I mentioned the like comparing myself to other people on social media when it comes to like views and like engagement and all that. I was really like stressed out because I constantly felt like I was like embarrassing myself. It wasn't until a lot of people would come to like markets and be like, oh, I really enjoy your content. I love this video. I love like what you talked about. That like slowly I was able to be like, okay, like I don't care anymore if my like video is not reaching like millions of people. Like if I can make one person like feel happy or one person feel informed about something, then like, I feel like I've already done my job as a human being. Like I want to stop treating myself as like a robot who's always trying to go for like viral content when I really just want to make connection. So yeah,
that's so beautiful. You definitely touched our hearts. What was about how funny you are online? Yeah, and my friend in London who's also a dietitian, she's like inspired by you. So
tell her I said hi. Thank you.
You can say hi, Martha.
Hi, Martha.
Yeah, that's awesome. Nice. And then last question. I think you already talked a lot about this, but the question is, tell me about yourself outside of art. Who are you? But because you've already talked so much about it, I guess like, is there anything else like you would like to share?
My friends always say I'm really like unhinged. I guess that's
See that.
My friends have all described me as the most abnormal person they have ever met. Okay. Even though I think I'm pretty normal, but I guess I have a pretty abnormal job. I can't tell what my personality is like because it depends on you guys, like, you know, perspective of me.
Yeah. I mean, I think interacting with you like this, like, you seem very like normal, whatever normal is. But like we see snippets of like, you know, your true self online, and we're like, whoa, like she's so funny. Like,
I think I need time warming up to people. So like a
that
few more encounters, you'll be like, she's fucking weird.
maybe.
So strange. That's what my friends have described me as. My mom would call me, like, not in a hurtful way, she'd be like, you're very much like an alien. Yeah.
That's so funny.
And then she means it as like you're very special.
Very unique.
Very unique.
Yeah.
So, not as like a brag or anything, that's just how people have described me.
Yeah.
And I guess I mentioned before, but I'm lucky enough to always have friends like fall into my lap, and I'm, you know, like fortunate enough to have learned more about like mental health and setting boundaries to the point where I'm, you know, if I have someone in my life where I really just don't feel happy about anymore, I don't really have a problem cutting them out. I really cherish my time in this timeline, in this like my lifetime, so I just don't like wasting time. So if I feel like someone is, you know, wasting my time, then it's like no. No, that's amazing. And I'm very, I guess, straightforward. Like if my friends have, you know, trouble like confronting someone. Yesterday, actually, like Sheila next to me, the crochet girl next to me, she had a customer like haggle about her price. Her total came to like $43, and then the lady kept saying like, you know, oh, can you do $40? Can you do $40? And then, you know, in our minds, it's like, it's a $3 difference. Yeah, what the heck? And then Sheila was very like, you know, shy and introverted, and you know, she didn't feel comfortable, but she also don't like, you know, raising her voice or like, you know, like causing conflict. So I was the one to be like, we don't do discount, we don't do haggling. That's awesome. Yeah. Good on you for stepping in. Yay. Okay, enough about my strength. My weakness, I spiral. I didn't even ask that question. This is not an interview. Okay, not shut up. No. Whatever you want to share. Yeah, I guess I mentioned before, like working in social media has done a really big number on my like mental health. So, I spiral really easily, compare myself like a lot with other people. My mental health like swing really violently, like differently between day and night, which is why I try to wake up earlier, because I know during the day when there's sunlight, I'm able to think rationally. But at night, when I don't see sunlight, I'm like, everyone hates me. This world doesn't need you. You should, like, you know, like very like depressed at night, but very happy during the day. So I see. Yeah. Okay.
Australia's good for you. Yeah, don't go to the UK or
No,
whatever.
immediately
No.
I will just vanish into the thin air.
The sun goes away at 4 p.m.
No,
Like, what is that?
So bad. I hate the rain as well. So.
Me too.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. But
Nice.
I really enjoy my life and like my work as an artist. So thank you everyone for supporting me.
Yay! That's the end of my questions. Thank you so much for sharing so much about your life and being so vulnerable. And thank you so much for being on Green by Green Artist Stories.
Oh God, it's a pleasure to be here.
Yay!